And now, the general weather around Alaska.
Starting off with a couple of warning areas here. One, Prince of Wales Island, high wind warning for tonight for southeast winds gusting to 60 miles an hour as a strong system tracks up the coastline. And up here for the Juneau-Douglas area, also a high wind warning for northeast winds gusting to 60 miles per hour. And again, both those warnings out from 7 p.m. until tomorrow morning. And for the satellite imagery, you can see a system winding up pretty well here that's going to be tracking up toward the coastline. A lot of moisture here out to the north with another band right through here bringing some light rain and snow into Prince William Sound. Kenai Peninsula area there, and just some very light amounts in toward the eastern Cook Inlet area. Otherwise dry here over the western part of the state and also to the north. A few more clouds here up over the north slope on out to the Arctic coast with some areas of very light snow occurring up there. Still some pretty gusty west winds in areas there. And then the next system here pushing eastward quite rapidly across the Bering Sea with being pushed eastward by a strong westerly jet there aloft. And warm front right through here beginning to spread the rain into the Pribilof Islands and to a lesser extent down to the south here. And moving on to today's analysis, you'll see rain and wind here sliding eastward to about the Pribilof Islands and about to make landfall there in St. Matthew Island with warm front rains, fog, drizzle, that sort of thing here pushing in toward the eastern Aleutians. And then the front with another round of some light rain back to the west there. Otherwise, dry conditions, variably to mostly cloudy here, and then mostly clear in some areas here, especially along the mid-Yukon River Valley, right on down to the Yukon-Kuskokwim Delta, in toward northern Bristol Bay. And then a lot of moisture here over the Gulf of Alaska with this strong system down to the south. It's well to the south, and that's starting to pick the winds up here already along the southern coast of the Panhandle. And again, that light moisture all the way up into Prince William Sound, Kenai Peninsula, and some flurries, light snow going on throughout much of the day over the eastern and central Arctic coast, with winds still gusting up to close to 40 miles an hour at Utagavik today. Out of the northwest, becoming more westerly this afternoon there. And then some flurries down the northwest coast, Atasuk, over toward Point Hope, Cape Lisburne, and then down toward Deering and Shishmaref, as well as Wales. And for tonight, you can see system tracks up toward the, actually kind of a double system here. This one, another one wraps around and develops as this one tracks up to the northeast. This one pulls westward there. And so rain heavy at times with some heavy wind again into the southern Panhandle with lighter amounts to the north, but still pretty gusty winds with the pressure fall associated with this system coming northward and the higher pressure in over the Yukon. Got the high wind warning out for the Juneau-Douglas area there for, again, those northeast gusts to 60 miles an hour. Once again, southeast 60 miles an hour for Prince Wales Island. And front pushing rain into the Alaska Peninsula here. And already starting to weaken and may or may not even push some precipitation in toward the Pribilof Islands. See tomorrow, in toward Nunivak Island. Definitely will rain over the Pribilofs, and that'll linger into tomorrow as this front does a slow dissolve here across the Bering Sea on down toward the Alaska Peninsula. Otherwise, not much else out to the west here. Weak system might bring some light rain, fog, and drizzle to Adak and Atka. And then the next front pushing some light rain in toward Shemya and Attu. This system here pushes eastward toward the southeast, or staying well to the southwest of the Queen Charlotte Islands. This system kind of pulling back to the west there, and the front breaking up here, so lighter winds, but still kind of a wet day across all the southeast coast to about Yakutat. Interior Alaska looking really nice, light winds and a fair amount of clearing, especially over the central and western areas on down into areas south of the Alaska Range. Kodiak Island, a very nice day there with a fair amount of sunshine, increasing clouds over the southwest part of the island. Up here along the Arctic coast, still a chance of some light snow, very light snow flurries there, but lighter winds now with high pressure in over the Brooks Range. And taking a look at the second day of the weekend, Sunday, we'll see, go back out here, this system here makes a pretty good push to the east there, again with that strong jet coming across the Bering Sea. The low center staying back to the northwest there, but the front driving eastward, bringing increasing precipitation here across the southwest interior down to about Cape Newenham or so, and then it cuts off, mostly dry for Bristol Bay, but increasing clouds though through the afternoon. Rain, Pribilofs again down into the eastern Aleutians behind the front, tapering off and then picking back up with that trough out toward the western Aleutians. And a very nice day, interior Alaska. A lot of sunshine, Kodiak Island here into the North Gulf Coast, even in the Gulf of Alaska there, all the way up to the Brooks Range, picking up some clouds and still a chance of some flurries there for the central and eastern Arctic coast. And then for the Panhandle, much better conditions coming up for Sunday. This system, again, from this location, tracking eastward, and that's going to stay mostly south of the Panhandle there. Maybe some precipitation might reach Metlakatla, possibly Heidelberg, but just a very slight chance at that. Probably see some clouds over the southern areas, but more clearing to the north. Looks like a dry day for that area. Lows tonight down that way, mostly in the 30s to lower 40s. Otherwise, 5 below to 10 above here in the central interior. Teens down into the Kuskokwim Valley, northeastern Bristol Bay, 20s out to the southwest coast. And teens and 20s for the North Slope and the Arctic coast. South central Alaska, though, in the 20s to near 30 around Homer, Seldovia, mid-30s Kodiak Island, 30s for the Alaska Peninsula, eastern Aleutians, 40s for the central and western Aleutians. Highs for tomorrow, 0 to 10 here, Brooks Range in the northern interior valleys, teens through the central interior, and closer to 20 there for the Kuskokwim Valley in the 20s, and then reaching the near 30 there for Bristol Bay. Highs south central Alaska in the 30s, mid-20s for the Copper River Basin area, and in the 40s for the southeast coast, Kodiak Island, Alaska Peninsula, and the Aleutians. Lows for Sunday morning, 5 to 15 below there for the northern Koyukuk Valley and the Brooks Range area in toward Ambler, with temperatures mostly above 0 for the North Slope and well above 0 for the Arctic coast, and down into the 0 to 5 degree range for the Tanana Valley, 15 to 25 south central Alaska, and for the southeast coast again 30s to lower 40s. And then the highs for Sunday afternoon, 30s here for south central Alaska, above freezing, and mid-40s Kodiak Island, lower 50s here for the Alaska Peninsula to Unalaska. Otherwise, a chilly day in the Tanana Valley in the mid-teens there, and then closer to 0 up toward the Brooks Range for the highs, anywhere from 0 to 10, Fort Yukon, Anatuvik Pass area, and Arctic Village, 20s for the central Arctic coast, and 40s for the southeast coast.